Let's shift to another subject that I alluded to. This November's elections are the first in Indiana since the widespread introduction of chatbots, computer programs that produce generative artificial intelligence. So now, for the first time, voters who want a quick profile of a candidate can ask a chatbot to scrape the internet and draft a report for them in seconds, potentially saving them hours of individual research. Recenter Indiana asked Google's chatbot, Bard, to create a summary about the mayor's race here in Indianapolis. You're smiling because we provided your campaign with that AI-generated profile of you and your opponent. The next few questions are about that profile and, as I see from your face, your reaction to it. Let's start with this question. You've already answered part of it. The Bard chatbot told us, and I quote, Shreve is a former Indianapolis Metropolitan Police officer. You've already told us that's not true. A previous profile, which we did not burden you with, described you as a political newcomer. As you know, that's not true either. So what was your overall reaction when you read that AI-generated profile of this race?
I thought that AI is not ready for prime time yet. I think AI will change our world and at a brisk pace. And I think that we all have to be very careful in all arenas, certainly including the political one, as to how that plays out and works. But it's clearly not ready for prime time because the accuracy of what I read and that which I know of myself and of Joe Hogsett was just largely off point. So I hope our potential voters don't rely meaningfully on that in 2023. I think it's going to take some time to kind of grow to a reasonable point. But there's so much investment in that space that it's going to be meaningful. But I wouldn't make my decisions based on it today.
One more question about that AI-generated summary about this campaign. We sent a total of 6 prompts for just one of the 2 profiles we generated on this race, specific to the Indianapolis mayor's race. And only after that 6th and final prompt did the Bard chatbot get around to offering the following advice, and I quote, "It is important to do your own research, to learn as much as you can about the candidates and the issues before you cast your vote." And we're asking all these questions, as you might surmise, because we suspect many voters will be tempted to, in fact, turn to AI instead of doing their own laborious research. So what's your advice to voters for making sure the candidate information they get is reliable?
I would draw my information from a number of media sources. We've got the newspapers of record. I think the IBJ is pretty thorough in their coverage. They've got a number of bloggers and websites. I think it's important in this day, in local office or national office, that voters not just stay in that channel or information lane that identifies with their particular political persuasion. It's a dangerous thing that we have all kind of gone to our corners and that there are media channels that cater to those. And so in the case of a local elective office, it should be easier to see and keep up with and glean some sense for where the candidates align and where they differ. But my advice to voters would be tune in broadly, and to candidates to make themselves available through a number of channels. People are going to write about you, whether you turn up or not. And so this is the first time I've had this opportunity to spend some time with your group. But I think that these opportunities are helpful toward informing voters as they make what I think is a very important decision, because the office of mayor does directly and immediately impact the lives of nearly 1 million citizens in the center of our state. But the grin that you saw earlier was just as I read the summary from that Bard AI, and I thought, boy, this one's not ready for prime time yet.